What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Yes, this is the Puss and Booth Last Wish movie review that I teased in the short, which somehow got 75 views in less than a day. I don't even know. I can't explain it. Anyway, welcome to this. Yes, it's way different than my usual setup. Not only am I not standing up, and not only is there no movies behind me, but yes, we're in the old podcast setup, which hopefully someday there will be a continuation of. I don't know. Anyway, yes, this movie's great. It's great.
Yeah, I agree with that. I enjoyed it.
Everything about this movie just works. I'm just gonna go into details. This is gonna be a spoiler review because honestly, you should have seen it by now. If you haven't, what are you doing? First of all, it's on digital. Just rent it. Just watch it. It's great. I mean, spend money on it. I mean, really, it's a movie worth of that. It's of that tier.
Is it still in theaters?
It is still in theaters. Like if you go to a mall.
I've only watched it on digital. Would you recommend watching it in theaters for like the visuals?
Absolutely. I mean, the animation's great. I mean, I've said this to people before, and yes, other reviewers have said it, but it's still an original idea because I understand it. I walked out of this movie. Once I watched this movie, when I was done, I felt the same way I felt like when I watched movies like the Lego Movie or Into the Spider-Verse, so on and so forth, where not only is an animated movie meant for kids, but it has an element that is meant for adults. And people, for whatever reason, are complaining about that. It's dumb. It's hilarious. This movie's really funny. Like, really funny. Like, it made me laugh in many, many scenes.
The way they wrote it, it can be enjoyed by like literally anybody.
Like,
it's not just one of those movies that parents take their kids to just to get them to shut up. It's like they'll enjoy it too.
And that is all because the dog in the movie, I think they ended up naming him Pedro, I think.
Burrito or something.
Something like that. It's a Spanish name. When you first start watching this movie, and I thought the same thing, and I'm sure you did too, I thought it was going to have a whole Jar Jar Binks type feel to it, where it's a character where not only is it not well explained, nor no backstory, but it's really annoying. Which this dog, when you watch the trailer, when you watch this movie, you start to feel that at first, but then this dog becomes probably the best character in this movie. Not only is the dog literally the funniest character in this movie, but the backstory for this dog, they make it comedic, but like it's dark.
In reality, it's like really dark, but he's still like really upbeat about it.
Yeah, it's really funny. This movie, it's hilarious. I can't explain it better than that. Another thing is the villain in this movie, which you could make a video in and of itself talking about this villain because of how good he is. He does everything that a villain should do and more. Anytime this villain's on screen, you are fully entertained, you are fully intrigued, and you get chills on the back of your neck because his whistle is absolutely terrifying. I think you can agree with that. I guarantee there's some kids that are watching this film thinking this guy's scary because the first scene that this guy's in, he's terrifying, and you realize that very quickly. And it's not only that, Puss and Boots, which is supposed to be this very big ego character, which by the end of the movie, if you've seen it, he turns out not to be. He's scared when he first meets this character, and throughout the whole movie, anytime he hears that whistle, he gets really scared. I mean, though I thought it was really creative how they made the whole thing where his life was flashing before his eyes. I've never seen a sequence like that. I thought it was really entertaining. What about you?
Yeah, it was callbacks to the other movies and like all his adventures and everything. And towards the end, you can tell that he's more appreciative of his last life, like living it to the fullest, because he took for granted all of his other lives, and when his lives flashed before his eyes the first time, it was all his other lives, and then the last time it was just his last life. Like he appreciated it more.
Yeah. And because this is a spoiler review, I will go into details. But another whole thing is that he has an encounter. He's closed into this cave, and he has an encounter with his past lives. And he starts to realize each one of his past lives have a way of having a huge ego that he no longer has because he's living his life to the fullest because he has one life left. I mean, it's great. It's very creative. Yeah, I mean, really. I know that you really like the villain. Do you want to say anything about that in particular?
Before I talk about that, I want to say that it's been a long time since I've seen an animated movie that made me sad, happy, scared, and this invested.
Right. This movie.
All in the same movie.
Exactly. This movie, I think, will get a cult following as soon as it comes out on Blu-ray. I plan to buy it. I think you've mentioned it as well. This movie's really good. Yeah, I mean, you can make videos analyzing this movie and every little small detail that there is for a good reason. This movie, it's very creative.
And they had multiple villains, but they didn't do the Spider-Man thing, the Spider-Man 3 thing.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing with reviewers. If you've seen Spider-Man 3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I practically hate that movie with every fiber of my being because the first two Spider-Man movies are great, and then the third one comes out, and it's a dumpster fire. And I'm not the only one that thinks that because they had so many characters. None of them were explained well. The only good... I'm sorry. The only good part about that movie was the ending, where the only well-explained character, because he was in the previous movies, which is the new Green Goblin, which he looked horrible, first of all. The CGI in that movie is kind of not great. But this movie had, I think, even more characters. I mean, literally, like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, that's 4 characters right there.
And even though that was kind of like a side plot, it was still like fully fleshed out, and you were still like at least somewhat invested in those characters.
Yeah, like I can't explain it. And then, of course, you have the return of Kitty. I mean, again, it's great. The only thing I was a bit nervous at first was when there's this, you know, the scene where they're running away with the map, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and then they just all of a sudden decide to bring up the conflict that they used to have. I thought that was not going to work out, but in the end, it worked out really, really well. So any movie that this movie started, any problem this movie had, opening the date, it closed the date near perfection. I don't know how this movie did it. Like a Puss in Boots movie should not be this good. I don't know. Anything you want to say? Or just about the film?
This is kind of just like an offshoot, but we did shoot this already yesterday, and it lost the audio. But one thing you said, you're talking about when they stole the gold, and then Death did this with his eyes. At first, when I first saw it, I thought it was like, you know how when you shine a light on a dog's eyes, they look different? But then I thought about it. It actually was gold coins because they put gold coins on people's eyes when they die to keep their eyelids shut.
That scene
I
is...
thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Added touch.
That scene is probably my favorite in the whole movie. It's the scene where they're running away on the carriage. They dump gold coins off. You see Death, which...
He's in the crowd with all the cheering people.
Yeah, you hear...
He isolates on him, and he does his whistle. And
yeah. I don't know. Again, I said this yesterday when we previously had this recorded, which is a whole nother story. If this audio is not working right now, I'm gonna scream. But I have one nitpick with the movie, which they try to explain it, and they do, and it's not nothing against the villain itself, but the name of the villain is like, I don't know, man. You could have come up with something a little more creative. That's literally the most minor nitpick you could have. I don't know.
When you're nitpicking about something so insignificant like that, it just shows you how good the movie actually is.
Like this movie, it's wonderful. I plan to watch it many more times, and I've seen it 4 times already. Okay, and each time, not only have noticed more details, it hasn't even gotten boring. Like I put it on again, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, and yes, I'm gonna have to change the top 10 of my 2022 list because this movie's got to be on there. Like, it's not physically a choice not to have it on there. Um, I don't know. I am gonna give this movie an A plus.
Yeah, A plus.
This movie's great, bro. Go watch it. Um, if you can, watch it in theaters. It won't be a mistake. I don't know what else to say. Have anything you want to add?
Just all around a great movie. It's a really good animated movie. The animation they did really well. I don't know, maybe it's just personal preference, but I really like the shaded art style they did. It just, I don't know how, it just like pops. It looks really cool, and the fight scenes, they like turn the frame rate down a little bit, like kind of like a comic book style, like kind of like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the animation in this movie is the animation I expect out of 2022. It's top tier. All the money that went into this movie you can see on screen.
It's very stylistic.
It is. It's very colorful. Everything about this movie is colorful. The wishing star in and of itself.
Yeah, like the effects around it. Those are
Yeah,
cool.
it's great. Anyway, we both give it an A plus. Go watch it in theater. Don't even rent it. Go watch it in theaters while you can. Like, it's worth it.
Watch it in theaters and then rent it and watch it again.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that good of a movie. Of course, unfortunately, it doesn't beat Top Gun Maverick. That's a whole nother video for another time. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you to the special guest over here. And peace out, like and subscribe.